So we got to talk about the best exercise for losing weight. I know so many of you that are building fasting lifestyles, you're trying to figure out how to lose weight. So on this video, I want to highlight one study in particular that really shows the effectiveness of one style of exercise that will, not only will you be able to succeed at, because everybody can do this, but also that will give you a greater burn when it comes to fat loss and will improve your cardiovascular system the best. The study I'm highlighting was actually in BMJ, British Medical Journal, which is a phenomenal journal. And the title of the study is The Effectiveness of High-Intensity Interval Training for Weight Loss in Adults with Obesity. Now, high-intensity training, if you have not heard about this, let me give you sort of the basic premise of it. What it is where you are pushing yourself to max for about 30 seconds, and then you're taking a rest for 90 seconds, and then you're going back and pushing yourself to a max for 30 seconds. So this was originally brought to our attention decades ago by a Japanese scientist named Tabata. You might have heard of Tabata training. That was like all the rage in all the gyms for a long time. And what he did is he took two groups. This was the old study. This is a new one. So don't worry, I'm getting to the new study. But in the old study, what Tabata figured out was that you could take two groups of people. One, you could put them on a treadmill running or walking at the same rate for an hour. And the other one, he had do 30 seconds of full out hard running on the treadmill, followed by 90 seconds of walking, then back to 30 seconds, and then 90 seconds. And he had them do that for 20 minutes. Now, what he found in that study was that the people who were on the treadmill for an hour, yes, they burned calories, but the minute they got off that treadmill, they no longer had any kind of metabolic uptick. There was nothing that kept their metabolism at that really high burn rate. Whereas the people, when he put them on the treadmill and he made them go all out where they could barely, move anymore, and this showed up in this study too, and then he had them do that in short bursts, that not only did their metabolic rate go up during the 20-minute exercise, but it stayed high for 24 hours. Now, this is critical because I don't know about you, but I want an exercise that's going to be short bursts, 20 minutes, very doable. And yeah, I'd like it to keep my metabolic rate going for the rest of the day, wouldn't you? So this is why HIIT training, this style of training, has become so popular because it is the most time-efficient way to use exercise to drop weight. Now, what's interesting about this new study in BMJ, so it's not like completely new, it's 2021, but what they did is that they looked at 44 obese subjects. Now, it was a variation of men and women, so I just want to point out that we should have had it for my women, like it should have been all on women so that we could really see what this did, take the information for women out of this. But because we don't study women in a silo, we kind of mix women in with men, we're sort of getting an average of the findings for both men and women. They compared one that was 60% of maximum oxygen peak, or what they call VO2 peak. And so that wouldn't be like full on out of breath. That would be like 60% of your ultimate limit that you can take cardiovascularly. That was one type of working out. They called it MICT. And then the other group did HIIT training, where you are going 100% of VO2 max. So you got to be out of breath. If you're going to play by these rules, when you work out, you got to be out of breath. Deal? Okay, now check this out. So with this HIIT style HIIT training, they shortened it even more. They changed the parameters a little more compared to the old Tabata's information. They did 3 to 7 repetitions of a 3-minute all out. So instead of a 30-second sprint, they did 3 minutes all out. So I guess that would still be around a 20-minute workout if you did 7 repetitions of 3 minutes all out at 100%. And then they did a minute and a half rest in between each repetition. So if you want to mimic this, it's a little different version from Tabata's. So I just want to point that out. Now, here's what they found, is that they did it every day for 12 weeks. And at the end of a 12-week period, not only did the HIIT training group lose more weight, but their cardiovascular system was greatly improved. So they started to see some real reduction in poor cardiovascular health, turn around from the HIIT training that they didn't see from people who were just doing the moderate training at about 60% of their VO2 max. So that was really cool. The second thing that they saw was that because it was such a short type of exercise, that people were able to stick with it. So there was no boredom. The dropout rate was significantly lower than the people who had to go longer with their exercise, but maybe were more comfortable in the exercise experience. So again, if we relate this to our own selves, would you rather go for an hour walk and because it feels a little bit easier, or would you take 20 minutes of some struggle and so that you can get a better result? Now, I can tell you as somebody who's very packed, her calendar is very packed, I'll take 20 minutes of struggle over an hour of comfort to get a better fitness result. That's just hands down. That's how I feel. So I think when we get to this place where we're like, I can't exercise because I don't have time, this blows this completely away. Now, what I love about this study, and I want to really highlight, because sometimes these studies can be very confusing and sometimes they have just gems of statements and I'm like, wow, we got to know this. And here's one of the gems of a statement that they said, is that they feel like HIIT training should be considered for improving not just weight loss, but it should be considered for improving cardiovascular markers, and that it actually should be one of our first go-tos for cardiovascular health. Now, let's unpack that for a hot moment, because I know you probably came to this video because you want to lose weight. So hopefully you just got an understanding that the new science is saying 3 minutes on, minute and a half reduction, 3 minutes of all out, minute and a half of rest. That done 3 to 7 times is how you are going to burn more fat and how you are going to improve cardiovascular markers. I hope that everybody starts exercising like that, because that is the key for weight loss. But what about for treatment of cardiovascular markers? So those of you that have high blood pressure, those of you that have high cholesterol, those of you that are not sure if you want to take a statin, or if you're not sure, what you're doing for your cardiovascular health, there's another part of the cardiovascular story that you may have never heard of, which is this high intensity training for overall cardiovascular improvement along with weight loss. And one of the reasons I wanted to highlight that for you is because when I am here educating you all, I'm looking at it through a lifestyle lens.
Okay, my baby's coming to you. Eat like a girl. You want to know the foods that will support hormones? Guess what? I have them for you already. It's a free giveaway. Just click the link below and I'll send you a list of all the foods that support amazing hormonal health.
If we have gained weight, if we have high blood pressure, if we have high cholesterol, if we have challenges with our cardiovascular system, I always think about lifestyle first. And of course, the fasting lifestyle cleans up so much. And just like fasting, when I brought it to you, it's like all of a sudden people were like, oh, wow, I can eat my food in an 8 to 10 hour period, leaving longer windows for rest, and my body starts to actually burn fat more efficiently. It's the same principle I'm talking about now, but it's over in the exercise world. We can exercise more efficiently and get a better result. So we're back at the metabolic switch. You go into that fasted state, you burn fat. You come into the food state and you start to build hormones, and you start to improve everything from neurotransmitters in your brain to your hair to your skin to muscle. We do that, right? In the metabolic state or in the sugar burner state. Then we go over to the fat burning state. We start fasting a little longer. We start really getting rid of the excess. We can do the same with exercise. Think of HIIT training as being over here in the fat burning place. So if you like to walk, or you like to go on a hike with friends, or you like your yoga class, keep doing that. But when you want to dip into periods of more fat burning, how about we do this 3 minutes on, minute and a half off, 3 to 7 reps, and we do HIIT training over here. That's how I see this tool being used. Weight loss is not complicated when you start to look at it through the lens of the metabolic switch. And if you want to be a fat burner when it comes to exercise, HIIT training is your go-to. So put in the comments if that is you, if you've noticed HIIT training has helped you lose weight. If you're struggling to understand what HIIT training even is, come join me in my Reset Academy. Every Saturday morning, we're doing different versions of HIIT training. All ages are in there. Let me tell you, it's a really fun community, and there's a lot, everything from 80-year-olds to 25-year-olds. We're all working out together all over the world. So if you want to experience this, come join us over there. But don't give up on yourself. Don't fall prey to those old dieting strategies, those old exercise strategies. They're no longer pertinent anymore. They're no longer relevant. And if you didn't get the message, this is the message. Send this to somebody who's exercising in a way that's just exhausting them, not turning them into a great metabolic switcher and not tapping into the fat burning resources that your body's already given you. So there you go, HIIT training. It's the jam for weight loss. Okay, you're not losing belly fat. I get it. Watch this video so you know exactly how to get rid of your belly fat. So I really want you to remember that cortisol and belly fat, those go hand in hand. So as your belly is growing, it's not always diet related. It can also be stress related.